you're not supposed to see the world in the way the world sees the world. That's why Christ said we should be in it, but not of it. So that when the world gets caught up with its own, we're there to say, no, this is what you're promoting. This is what you create. So why I'm not going to go along with your judgment. Yes, I see the wrong in what he's done, but that's on Tiger, between Tiger, his guy, his wife, and his family. And he didn't owe any of us an apology. And not one child knew or cared less about how he lived, just like we didn't care. I never thought about Tiger Woods being a moral man or not think about it. And so when I heard this, I mean, it was interesting that he had been with so many women, but I hear it all the time. I bet, and don't show your hand, guys. I bet you can't find but one guy in this room that haven't been with, well, two guys, maybe three, that haven't been with more than 20. And the only reason the other ones they haven't been lucky enough yet. They were too scared. Not because they're all holy. We got to face reality because it's the truth that keeps us free. It really is. And the world will judge you. They'll wipe you out. You know, Tiger mentioned something about his religion. What was it? Buddhism. Yeah. They're going to wipe him out about mentioning that. Yeah. Really, they're going to mock him for the rest of his life because of that. Because it is a form of religion. Yes. And they're going to use it against him. As long as they have that video, they're going to play that even when he's on his way to the grave. Right. They're going to use it against him. And that's how they would do you and me, anyone who tried to do what's right. And so the best he could have done is apologize with his family. You know, he could have had a private ceremony with his sponsors and just went out there and did the thing right. Because, and as Christians, we are not supposed to judge at all. And if you were of God, you would have been able to look at this guy, understood where he was coming from, understood that he couldn't help himself, and just wish him well. You know, you wish him well. You don't make any judgment of it at all. We are not to judge. And if you notice why you are laughing at him, look what's going on in your closet. You know, you're laughing at Tiger because now his stuff, and I'm talking about Christians. Now, I expect the world to do it because they're not of God. But if we are of God, we wish the man, we recognize that it's wrong, but in our hearts, we wish his family, he and his family well, because we understand the spirit behind what's going on. And if you understand that, you cannot imagine that a man like that, who is so successful, well-known, has a lot to lose, would want to deliberately go out and do something like that to destroy himself. You got to know there's a spirit or something driving him to do it. And so as men and women of God, your desire is that God's will be done for he and his family. You don't judge him like the world, put him in front of the world, and make a mockery of him. That's what they did to him. And the Christians went along with it too. God said that we must renew our minds from within. We do not have the same mindset that they have or that we had prior to salvation, awakening of, the light within. So we don't live by assumption. We live by faith. We give everybody the benefit of the doubt. And then when we find out differently, we make the right decision. We see the right thing to do.
Well, it's like...
And that's a freeing of not judgment.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's like people say, they like to say all politicians are evil or right. They all fall. All professional athletes they're all fallen, And I just like to leave the benefit of the doubt that, there may be one out there. There may be one. And until I hear something... I know, but when you don't assume anything about anyone, you do leave it open for the possibility of good men and women out there. All right.
But assumption put them in a position that they may not even want to be in. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That makes sense?
That makes sense.
So you still disagree wholeheartedly?
Okay, less fully. I agree fully with what you're saying right here.
Yeah, and this is not a contest. I want to bring you to the God that came to save us from this mentality. Really. Christ came so that we are able to renew our mind from within. He really did. So that we can live as free men and women, not subject to the world.
Now you're talking
about... Not judging one another. And yet we can recognize wrongdoing. You know what I'm saying? But you also recognize it in a different light. If I assume about people, I would have maybe one or two friends, two people I even talk to. Because you would be amazed at the wickedness of people's hearts. So you can't assume that. This is a spiritual battle, a battle between good and evil, and we don't have the capacity to assume anything. It's in your fallen nature that you want to do that. I want you to wake up. You're in darkness. You got to come into the light. The kingdom of heaven is inside of us. You need to be renewed from within. You don't need to turn to it, but in Proverbs, what is it, 16? Verse 24 says, pleasant words are as honeycomb, sweet to the soul, and health to the bones. Pleasant words are as honeycomb, sweet to the soul, and healthy to the bone. What is pleasant about cursing out your kids? How is that sweet to the soul?
Feels good to be.
What is pleasant about going to your enemy and just telling truth judging your enemy and going off on them with your anger rather than telling the truth with no judgment? That's sweet to the soul. That's what opened up the person's eyes that they may see. How you call yourself a Christian and think this way? And then you read the Bible and you say you know about God. There's nowhere in the Bible where God has ever treated us this way. And believe me, if God wanted to curse us out, he could lay down doing it and wake up doing it. But he showed us love.
Yes, sir.
And so we got to judge things by sight, by faith, rather than by sight. Because people by sight are blind and cannot see. And unfortunately, Christians are the same way. I talked to another friend, long story short, who been using my prayer for like years. And the other day they said, Jesse, I finally had a breakthrough with the prayer. I said, what was it? I can now see. I'm like, right on. Get a copy of the prayer. Go to bondinfo.org. Be still and know. All right? Hope this helped a little bit. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
For more information or to purchase a copy of this show, visit us on the web at www.bondinfo.org or call 1-800-411-BOND.